Welcome to Red Eye. Hello, everyone. I am Tom Shillue. Let's check in with TV's Andy Levy at the Red Eye Tease Deck. Andy.
Thanks, Tom. Coming up on the big show, a new survey reveals the favorite celebrities of Republican and Democratic voters. Oddly, Tom Shillue does not appear on either list.
What?
Wait, did I say oddly? I meant obviously.
Oh, my
Plus, the Gary Johnson super PAC spent 30 grand on internet memes. But will this be enough to ensure that Johnson finishes ahead of Harambe? And finally, a new study says having a backup plan is a bad idea. Guess this means your job is safe, Tom. Back to you.
Thank you, Andy. Let's welcome our guests. She's such a firecracker, Katy Perry wants to wear her on her bra. Reporter for the National Review and Fox News contributor Katherine Timpf. He's smoother than a high-fiber diet, comedian Kyle Grooms. Her name sounds like an expensive ice cream. Washington Times columnist Madison Gesiotto. Delicious. And he's more reserved than Hamilton tickets. Sitting right next to me is Fox News contributor and townhall.com political editor Guy Benson. Okay, let's start the show. Democrats and Republicans have chosen their presidential candidate, but even more important, they've also picked their favorite celebrities. A survey done for market research group NPD, the NPD group, shows that conservatives and liberals have very different taste. Who knew? On the right, they prefer athletes like Sam Bradford and Jordan Spieth, while their liberal counterparts go for Stephen Colbert and Felicity Huffman. 8 of the top 10 celebs picked by Republicans were golfers or football players, with singer Josh Groban and hunk Mark Harmon riding out the list. Democrats chose people like Regina Spektor, Taraji P. Henson, and K.D. Lang. Some celebs were preferred by both sides, including Leonardo DiCaprio, I call him Leo, Adele, Taylor Swift, and Phil Collins. Haven't said his name in some time. Phil Collins, everybody loves him.
I hate Phil Collins.
I thought you were bipartisan.
I hate Phil Collins. I get so angry whenever I'm in a public place where I have to be there, and then they start playing a Phil Collins song and I can't leave. It's upsetting.
Kat, you shouldn't even be allowed to hate Phil Collins.
Why?
You weren't old enough to remember when he was on the radio 24/7.
Thank God I wouldn't be here today.
I mean, it's amazing. You missed the flood of Phil Collins. You couldn't get away from him when I was in college. Build that wall. What do you think? I think everybody loves Adele, and the numbers bear that out.
She's okay. I don't know why people listen to it when they're sad, because then they're already sad. You know, if I'm going through something, I listen to Mike Jones or something, because I don't care. I just think I'm the best.
So wait, Mike Jones, does he bring you? If you're sad, does Mike Jones bring you up?
Yeah.
Adele. The thing is, though, the people listen to Adele, they want to go deeper into the hole.
But why? I
don't know. I don't understand it because I don't go there.
And whose favorite celebrity is Regina Spektor? She did that one song that got played a million times.
Yeah, Democrats love her.
Very upsetting.
Okay, Kyle, what do you think? Did anything surprise you on this list?
It surprised me that we had the same tastes in athletes, and that football is a popular sport. I'm happy because I used to play football, so that's kind of cool.
Oh, you were?
Yes. I got letters from universities and everything about
Does it surprise you that football is slightly more popular with Republicans?
Yeah, I would think they'd be more tennis people.
See, that's what you think of Republicans. You think they're all at the club. Playing tennis and whatnot.
Tennis, golf, and sports that have like a press box or something.
Yeah. I think
football has a press box.
It does.
I guess
You're right.
it does.
Although you probably you look like you've been around a tennis court, Guy.
I've played a little bit of tennis poorly, but I've actually been in more press boxes. I used to be a sports broadcaster, yeah.
Really? Now, how about this? Fleetwood Mac, everybody loves them. They were right down the middle.
I did enjoy, reading the coverage of this stuff where they're like, oh my gosh, we've discovered that Republicans and Democrats in America sometimes like the same things. Popular culture is, in fact, popular with all of these people. I'm like, yeah, not everyone lives an insanely politicized life.
Right. Although,
God.
Here's, as you say that, it's reminding me that this list, a lot of the people that had the crossover appeal, Fleetwood Mac, the Eagles, I think there was a time when popular culture was more universal and people are more divided now. The only people who made the list were like Taylor Swift and Adele and whatnot.
But that's current popular culture. And by the way, Adele, I saw her, she canceled a show this week because she was sick, and she put out a video apologizing, explaining the whole thing. It was very respectful to her fans. How can you not like Adele? You hate her.
I didn't say I hate her. I just said
You're pretty
I love
negative.
Stevie. I'm down to cry some Stevie
Stevie
Nicks.
Nicks.
Okay, I can, you know, it's not like I never cry. It's not like I never enjoy crying. Sometimes it's good for the endorphins.
It's all right.
Yeah.
I was disappointed no rappers were made the list at all.
Yeah.
Rap is the biggest pop culture
Yeah,
there is.
even
now.
from the Democrats, which I think is
Yeah,
pretty racist
yeah.
of them, actually.
They are. It shows you the Democrat Party is a racist
Very
party.
racist.
It shows
Very
you.
racist.
Madison, you probably don't know who Phil Collins is or the Eagles.
I actually know both.
You do, okay.
I did.
I was just making
Hotel
a remark.
California was my second grade art project.
So classic.
Yeah.
I think it was mine too.
But one of the things in the article, they talked about how they should use these people for endorsements
Yeah.
for the presidential candidates. But I think this far into the race, it's going to be useless because most of the people who haven't made up their minds in terms of who they're going to vote for are most likely not going to vote. I think a lot of the people that have made up their minds are highly educated, and the ones who aren't a lot of times don't get out to the polls in as high of numbers.
Are you trying to tell me that Scott Baio didn't move a lot of votes either way?
I'm trying to tell you that he did
I
not.
always find out who Phil Collins is voting for and then vote for the other person.
Boy, you really have a hang-up about
He's just
Mr.
not
Phil
good.
Collins.
He's not good.
Invisible Touch is a good song, and I will fight you over
You
this.
people listen to Phil Collins on purpose. That blows my mind.
His music is too happy, and Adele is too sad.
I
It's
know,
just
she's very
impossible
picky.
to please. And by the way, to your point, though, if you are one of these magical people who is universally loved by everyone, why would you risk that and go out and endorse either of these horrible candidates? Just step back and be like, thank you, America. You love me. I'm not going to even step into this realm.
Well, there's a downside with Trump. Obviously, people hold it against you, but I don't know. Does anyone, hold it against Hillary? I'm right wing, and I don't care if someone supports Hillary. I'm never going to hold it against them.
Yeah, I don't personally care, but some people hold grudges and want to boycott and all this stuff. It's a whole outrage industry.
Yeah. Okay, we learned a lot. Moving on. Libertarian presidential nominee Gary Johnson has a unique plan to defeat both Hillary and Trump. His super PAC, cleverly called Alternative PAC, announced, our PAC will use data, technology, narrative, and cutting-edge social media to target disaffected constitutional conservatives, independents, and Bernie progressives looking for something different. Now, how are they going to do that, you ask? To start a $30,000 investment in internet memes. Yes, memes, those things you can make online for free. Although the Super PAC has yet to release any memes, we thought we'd give them a little head start. Here we go. Yeah, so I'm going to need you to vote for Gary Johnson. Yes, the classic Office Space meme. Hey, girl, you want to vote third party with me? Fantastic. Who's that? Gosling, right?
Yes.
Classic. There's a 0% chance I'm not voting for Johnson. You know that one. Have you done that? Classic.
I think there's a funnier Johnson joke with that particular image.
Oh, you do? Already picking them apart. Ceiling cat is libertarian cat. Did anyone doubt, Cat, that ceiling cat is a libertarian?
No, all cats are libertarians.
They are, aren't they?
Yeah, I don't care. Neither am I. Look, I'm feeling the Johnson, for sure. I like him. I'm feeling the Johnson 100%.
Yeah, I heard it the first time, and I thought I got the triple entendre you just gave me.
Here's the thing. People are talking about this like this is huge deal. So we have like the Clinton Foundation, and then we have like Trump University, and then we have like Memegate. They're trying to find something where like, can you believe this? If it's about memes, it's not a big deal.
Well, look, I mean, I think that this is, I think it's a great way to get the word out, Kyle. And I support him for making memes, but we made those obviously A1 grade A comedy memes today for free.
I think a meme's got to be cute. It's got to have a baby on it, or Kim Kardashian, or maybe like an Instagram model or something. But a politician,
No, that's why he's going to use.
Would
What
it be
about
great if
ceiling?
there were some super raunchy memes?
Oh yeah, that would be nice. I'd vote for that. No,
I don't know if she really finds that funny or not. Madison,
I find it funny.
Madison, you make the memes. Is this going to push Gary over the top?
I mean, here's the thing. I think they're on the right track in terms of thinking internet savvy. They need to become more internet savvy, get the word out there, but they could have had interns make the memes, and that's kind of where I would have gone with this. If I was
Free labor?
the Super PAC, they would have had their interns do it and then use the $30,000 maybe to promote the memes
Yes.
or to do something else online.
A
So
Tinder
they're
account or something?
somewhat in the right universe. Just-
Maybe. Do you think we're being it's a snow job here? They announced they spent $30,000, then we cover it and call them a bunch of dummies, And then we gave him those free memes. There's, like I said, those were excellent. You can use Gary Johnson's campaign. You can use those. Okay, we made those today. What do you think, Guy?
I mean, his goal is to let as many people know as possible that he exists.
Yes.
Because most people do not. And yet he's polling at a decent percentage because people, going back to the previous point, loathe both of the major candidates. So if he can get out there and be like, oh, here's a somewhat amusing meme about someone I have never seen or heard of in my life, let me do a Google search on him, that translates into a win. He's just trying to get to 15%, which is the threshold.
Is he going to get there? He's where now? 8%, something like that?
Yeah, so it's going to be a struggle. And I think part of it is, and I'm working to, in fact, get Gary Johnson for an interview, because he's been doing a lot of his public appeals on television, at least, on other networks, seemingly to the Bernie people.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm the type of person you should be appealing to mostly. There's a lot of disaffected right-leaning people, and as a libertarian for limited government, like, the socialists want to do everything with government. You want to do as few things as possible, so maybe I want to ask him some questions from the perspective of a right-leaning person. You know, why should I vote for you?
Which there's almost no crossover. I mean, if you talk to the kind of progressives, wait a minute, the kind of progressives that supported Bernie, they
legalization, criminal justice reform,
non-intervention on
non-interventionist foreign policy,
okay,
pro-choice.
Could you name more than 10 or 12 things? I'm saying.
I mean, I could be here all night if you want.
All right. Well, I think that he's going to get there to 15 because, like you said, I don't think he has to work hard for your vote, do you? You already don't like. I know you don't like Trump. You've told me before in private. I know you don't like to come out of this.
I don't want that to get out.
But
they might say mean things to me on the internet.
But here's what I say: if he does get in there, I think that it's not as bad for. I don't think he's going to only drag votes away from Trump.
No, in fact, if you look at the polling so far, he is drawing almost evenly.
That's
from
it.
Trump and from Hillary.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
Like I said, I make things up off the top of my head. I say them with conviction, but this time I'm actually right.
Good research, Tom.
Yeah.
You're right.
Okay, moving on. Twitter is an online social networking service that enables users to send and read short 140-character messages called tweets. It's also, according to BuzzFeed, a honeypot for. That's what they titled their article about Twitter's decade-long inability to control online abuse. With story after story of people leaving Twitter due to harassment, many expected the company would formulate a coherent policy to deal with it, but they haven't. Former employees list a number of reasons for the inaction, among them failure of leadership, lack of corporate vision, internal debates over free speech, and basic procrastination. One senior employee sums it up this way, saying, seriously, if you were an alien and you came down, he said it like that, and you came down to look at this thing, you'd say, oh, the product was basically built for maximum ease of trolling. Like they must have built this for trolls. Kyle, you attack people viciously online, don't you?
Sometimes, but they're usually people I know and love. But yeah, I think Twitter is kind of like being a graffiti artist. You know, it's like it's a public thing that you sign up for voluntarily. So it's free speech. Sometimes if you paint graffiti, another graffiti artist might come and spray paint over it, something you don't like, and you just gotta deal with it.
You gotta deal with it. Spoken like a guy, right, Kat? Aren't guys like that? They just say, stop being so sensitive.
Yeah, but Twitter is a very special place. It's the only place where I can have somebody call me like, two tweets right next to each other today. Eat something, and the other one like, have you gained weight? Like, it's just constant hatred, and it's not even coherent hatred. It's wonderful. They're paying attention. They're watching me, and if they're sitting around tweeting hateful things to someone they've never met or someone they have met, and I just affect them that much passionately, I win no matter what, and I love to win.
You do. I mean, do you thrive on the negative? But sometimes, look, it's not. But I know you've because you know when it happens, you treat it with good humor. But you know, if you go home at night and people are threatening you,
eating me away inside.
I'm wondering if you does it wear you down?
She goes home and turns on some Adele and just weeps for hours.
Yeah, I weep over what like. I mean, I gotta say though, some of you would be very surprised at what your grandfathers say to me on Twitter. Grandpas can be real raunchy, and that's a little more upsetting than the mean ones.
Wow, Madison, do you think Twitter's a cesspool of vitriol and hate?
You know, I have been harassed on Twitter.
Have you?
I have, unfortunately. But at the same time, I think it's just something that it's not Twitter's job to police harassment. And I think what these people who are complaining are really looking for is a change in culture. And Twitter police aren't going to be able to give that to them. The one thing, though, I do agree on that I'm not sure even was mentioned here was something that people have been talking about regarding Twitter allowing videos of beheadings and rapes and murders and things like that to stay on Twitter for a little bit too long. So I think they need to get better in terms of policing illegal action.
They just announced today that they had suspended the accounts of hundreds of people finally, and I think it's because they're getting some pushback or whatever. But what's the answer? How do you change culture if they don't police themselves through rules? How do you do it?
Well, I think that the culture needs to be changed with us. I don't think the internet is the place to change culture.
Starts here.
I think culture is the place to change culture. We need to do it.
Yeah, we need to go back to writing love letters and things. Remember, you used to write a letter to someone?
I used to write letters back in college.
Yeah, so did I.
Long letters with my my ink and quill.
I believe that that's true about you, Tom. I believe you still do that.
I actually did have a. I mean, it was a fountain pen. It was it was a pen. It wasn't a feather. Anyway, Guy.
Letters.
I would write letters. Yeah. Guy, you're young, Guy. You don't remember? You gotta look it up. I had a typewriter in college. I typed my papers on an old 1935 Corona. Yeah.
Oh, that is so cute.
Guy.
Twitter. Yeah, so a couple things. I agree that the policies that they have seem capricious at times. I love Twitter. I'm on there all the time. You get the hate. You sort of deal with it. But they ban certain people who sometimes are horrible people. In fact, used the word that was used at the beginning.
Who have they banned? Milo. We know Milo got banned.
So he got banned, and I'm not necessarily a huge fan of his, but he shouldn't have been banned when a bunch of other equally bad or worse trolls don't. It's like, what's the standard here? If you bother a famous enough person who complains loudly enough, then you get banned. There have to be some set rules. And overall, I agree. It's a voluntary thing. You are not signed up at birth with a Twitter account. You choose to join the social media network. If you don't like it, if you can't handle people saying nasty things about you, which anyone gets, everyone who's remotely public in their life gets, you can either block these people, you can mute these people, which is my preference because then they don't know and it's satisfying for me, or you can voluntarily step away from Twitter. But to then say, oh, we need a huge change in the culture, I like the give and take, even with the ugly sometimes.
Yes. Wow, I think it's funny. We all seem to agree. Everyone thinks you ought to toughen up.
Yeah, I just go straight to blocking people.
You go to block?
Yeah, I go straight to the block.
Why don't you try the mute? Then they don't know.
It's fun.
Yeah, I don't do the mute. I do the block.
The full block. Then people know and they mention it. And
well, I'm just looking for a husband based on who's the meanest to me.
Isn't that what you kind of it's secretly?
Yeah, who's the meanest and least attractive and oldest who harasses me? I'm gonna
Something
be
tells
like,
me you're gonna hear
come
from
visit me.
some more grandpas tonight.
I'm sure I
Kat.
will.
Coming up, do kids need tough love? We'll debate it in a bare knuckle throwdown after the break. A high school in Little Rock is dishing out some tough love, and parents don't like it. This sign posted on the Facebook page for Catholic High School for Boys says, if you are dropping off your son's forgotten lunch, books, homework, equipment, etc., please turn around and exit the building. Your son will learn to problem solve. The post has over 100,000 shares, and parents are not happy. One writes, I'm an adult who forgets things because life is hectic and chaotic. I can't expect my kids to remember. And another, this has to be a suggestion, especially if I'm paying for my child to be there. According to Principal Steve Stressel, the policy is real and is good for students.
It's simply to help boys avoid the default switch of calling mom and dad when things don't go right and to come bail them out.
Yeah, good for Steve. And it seems that the policy is already working. Look at what one student has to say about it.
It'll help me think for myself and not rely on other people to do things for me. And if I make a mistake, I need to learn from it and try to fix it.
Think for himself, fix mistakes. He sounds very busy. I hope he can pass his conflict resolution class. Guy, was that a good example, conflict resolution? Is there a more frivolous class I could have used in that example?
Probably.
Yeah, I guess I guess during the show isn't the time to ask whether I should.
We can workshop some jokes for you later.
But wait, I think this is great. You seem to be shaking your head during this thing. I think it's good. Don't let the parents, the kids aren't going to learn anything for themselves.
Yeah, if you forget something at home once in a blue moon,
Yeah.
And you need a parent to come help you out. Like, this is what families do for each other. You know, it's like, don't let the state raise your kids. You raise your kids, except when the school tells you you can't raise your kids.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how I feel about this in particular. I was mostly thinking about what I would do if I had forgotten an assignment or something, and I would problem solve by going to the bathroom, texting my mom, and then going outside, meeting her, you know, like a drug deal at the curb to like get my thing.
But I don't think you'd forget an assignment.
That is probably true. Actually. I'm very responsible.
I don't see you forgetting your assignment.
I'm very responsible, and I always have a backup plan, which is
did you have a
tease for later.
Did you have a file cabinet in the first grade?
Perhaps.
But, you know, most of this, Madison, most of the parents were concerned that their kids were going to forget their lunch. They said, I have to be able to bring lunch because I don't want my kid to starve.
Okay, so first point, a lot of the parents commenting on the post were not parents of students at that school. So the fact that they were really concerned and their kids don't even go there shows that they have too much time in their hands. But second of all, I think this is actually a really good policy. Like they said, it's been in effect for decades. This is a private school. Parents choose to send their children there, and they pay to send their children there, and they're well aware when they send their children there that this is a policy. And so I think that these are high school boys. They're either going to learn now or they're going to learn when they go to college. Why not let them learn now and step up? They're not going to starve in 5 hours.
That's right. So I paid for it isn't an excuse for them to say I should be able to do what they want.
No, I think
they
it's
paid,
the opposite.
but they
Yeah, I think it's the opposite. Yeah, I think it's going to teach these boys to be more
That
responsible.
note's kind of rude, though. The turn around is in bold letters like they're yelling at you. You know what I mean?
They're just going to.
Oh, you don't like the attitude?
Yeah, it's like a little attitude. There's better ways to communicate with a parent than a note, you know? Just be like...
Well, it is a Catholic
digital
school.
video.
Yeah, did you ever go into a Catholic school? They're a little more, you know, tuck in your shirt.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Do they still
no
hit
running
you?
in the hallway. No, I don't think they can do that anymore. But
still with the guilt.
Yeah, still with the guilt. Part of the guilt.
See, I agree with you, like officially on this policy, but personally, I know I would have never made it past first grade if I didn't have my dad bringing me my homework, my lunch. I left my backpack in a parking lot as an adult.
Oh, I mean, I leave things. Yes.
I left my laptop on the subway once. Alcohol involved in none of this. Just for forgetfulness. So, you know, I think that forgetfulness is a disability, and this is discriminatory.
But, Kat, doesn't this prove you continue to forget your backpack to this day, right?
Because of my disability,
because
Tom.
No, because he brought the backpack.
Are you mocking my disability, Tom?
I'm saying that you never learned. You never did this sign.
It's a pre-existing condition.
Yeah.
I was born this way.
Yeah.
Who are you to tell me who I am?
Listen, I think when you leave your things around our fair city, I can blame Dad Timpf for being too attentive to you. Okay, coming up, halftime with TV's Andy Levy, now in color. And don't forget, Red Eye, the podcast, is back. Subscribe on iTunes and on FoxNewsRadio.com. Hey, welcome back. Time to find out what we got wrong and what we missed from TV's Andy Levy, and he is in the Red Eye News Deck. Andy?
Hey, Tom.
Hey.
How are you?
Good.
Good. I was just looking some stuff over.
Oh, yeah.
Favorite celebs of conservatives and liberals. Tom, I was looking at this list again. I think maybe they asked conservatives to name their favorite white celebrities.
I don't think they did.
Is that possible?
Just came out that way.
Oh, weird. How else does Sam Bradford get on the list? You don't even know who Sam Bradford is, do you?
He's not one of my favorite sportsmen, Andy. Who is Sam Bradford?
He's a quarterback.
He's biracial.
Who nobody would ever put on a favorite celebrity list.
Well, he got there, Andy. Can't argue with the numbers.
I don't get it. Also, Tom, did you say Josh Groban? Groban, I think you said.
Yeah, Josh Groban.
Yeah. Okay, I just checking.
Josh Groban.
I'm just gonna leave it there. Also, again, Tom, I have to stop talking to you. I'm gonna skip that. Kat, do you really not understand why people who are sad would listen to sad music?
Yeah, it just makes you more sad.
Really?
Why do you want to be more sad when you're already sad?
It doesn't always make you more sad, though.
Most things make me more sad.
Well, but you are a special case.
Yeah,
Yes.
I am.
Yeah. Tom, you said Kat isn't old enough to remember when Phil Collins was on the radio 24/7.
Yeah.
Even worse, she's not old enough to remember when he was on MTV 24/7. Because that was the problem.
Yes.
Oh, woof.
Yeah.
Woof.
I mean, what was his? It was all the 80s. The entire 80s was Phil Collins, right?
It really was. And for a while, he had Genesis and the solo career going, so you had like 2 albums a year of Phil Collins singing at you.
Yeah.
And the Miami Vice soundtrack.
Yes.
This is all terrible.
Yes. The Miami Vice soundtrack was actually done by Jan Hammer.
Oh, okay. But he had one song.
In the
on
Air
it that
Tonight was
Didn't
Yeah,
he
there
do
you go.
Tarzan?
Yes.
Tarzan?
Yeah.
Really
That was Phil
Tarzan.
Collins, right? I
Yes,
remember
yeah.
that.
I can't believe I get no props for knowing off the top of my head that Jan.
Yeah, that was kind of dope. I was like, what?
Unbelievable. Kyle, you said you would have thought Republicans were more tennis people because they had a lot of football people on the list. And Tom was like, see, that's what you think of Republicans. They did have a lot of golfers on the list.
Yeah.
Yeah, some of them people I had to look up because since Tiger started losing, I haven't followed them.
For conservatives, Jordan Spieth, golfer Jordan Spieth, was number 2.
Yeah.
Number 2 athlete for them.
Rory.
Rory was on there too. Rory McIlroy was on both.
Crossed over.
Yes, he did. Tom, you said the lack of rappers on the list shows that Democrats are racist.
Yeah.
As I alluded to earlier, all the choices on the right were white. For the Democrats, it was much more diverse. Try
Yeah,
it.
a lot of those guys,
Try
though.
again.
Yeah, but Jordan Spieth,
Yeah,
he raps.
fair point. Fair
Yeah,
point.
great rapper.
Yeah. Guy, you said you don't personally care if an artist supports a particular party or whatever, but that some people do care. I agree. I do feel like it's more of a lefty thing, isn't it? To care about that?
It does. You're right about that, but you're wrong about Sam Bradford, who is biracial. So,
Okay, yeah, I heard you say that earlier.
Yeah, I just want to make sure.
No, I didn't mean that in a bad way. Yes, I'm glad you brought it up.
With that particular thing. And also, I would like to claim credit for the Democrats being racist joke, which Tom piggybacked off of, which is fine. But if you're going to criticize someone for a bad joke, I'll take the hit on it.
I would. It's much more fun for me to criticize Tom.
Fair.
It is literally in my contract. I have to criticize a specific number of times a show. Madison, you didn't bring this up in the discussion, I don't think, but one of the categories that we didn't talk about was taste in video games.
Yes.
Is this... talk about video games.
Yeah, so so I did video game research in college, and so no one thought I would be really good at video games, and I grew up playing them. So I was an NBA 2K champion and Call of Duty Nazi Zombies and World at War champion. Excellent. And yeah, I went right in line with what they showed on the survey, conservative Republican. So.
Oh, excellent.
Did you call it video game research that you did in
Yes, I
college?
did. It was the correlation between violence and video games.
Oh, I thought you were referring to just playing video games as a research.
No.
I'm
I
like,
actually
that's pretty
did
good.
video game research, then on the side, made some money playing
Anything
video
could be
games.
research if you call it that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Gary Johnson memes. Kat, do you want to say feeling the Johnson again?
No.
Okay, just checking. Seemed like you wanted to say it a lot.
I say it plenty.
Okay. Kyle, you said a meme has to have a baby or Kim Kardashian or an Instagram supermodel.
I forgot to say Drake, too.
Okay. I was trying to figure out how the baby got in there with Kim Kardashian and Instagram supermodels.
Maybe Kim Kardashian's baby. Something.
Okay. That's fair. Guy, you said you want to ask Gary Johnson why, from a right-wing perspective, you should vote for him. I guess because he's the only right-wing person running for president?
Yeah, well, arguably, but then
Arguably.
one of his big pitches all the time is, don't worry, I agree with Bernie Sanders 75% of the time. And I'm like, bro.
But here's my theory as to why that is. The issues that we almost always talk about now are social issues, not economic issues. Because the left pushes that as the agenda. And I think when you break it down like that, yeah, libertarians probably are going to agree more with Bernie Sanders than with Donald Trump or Hillary Clinton.
Maybe. I guess, I mean, it's an unusual year, Andy.
It's a working theory I have. I don't really know or care. Twitter is a honeypot for a-holes. See how I did that, Tom?
What's that?
It doesn't have to be bleeped. I saved people time and effort.
Okay. I saw it in the teleprompter. I thought I should read it.
Okay. I would like to thank you, Tom, for explaining that Twitter is an online social networking service that enables users to send and read short 140-character message called tweets.
Yeah.
I thought it was a nice PSA to remind our viewers.
Yeah. Sometimes
Kyle,
they're lost in the middle of the story.
No, absolutely. Kyle, you said when you attack people viciously, they're usually people you know and love. Do you ever get, though, because that is something particularly comedians do all the time on Twitter, do you ever get third parties that you don't know at all who jump in and try to be part of that?
Oh yeah, I ignore them to death, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Andy, when you joke with me on Twitter, and then other people jump in to support you, they don't even realize you don't mean any of it.
I don't understand.
Okay.
Madison, I just want to. Did you say you don't think it's Twitter's job to police itself? That the culture needs to be changed?
I think that the people complaining about Twitter are looking for a culture change.
Okay.
No matter how much Twitter polices themselves, that
Right.
culture change isn't going to happen through Twitter.
Okay, fair enough. I do think Twitter probably has to do something just from a purely business perspective if it doesn't want to drive people off the.
Yeah, and I think that starts with taking off beheadings and rapes and murders that,
Yeah,
that are still there for like multiple hours at a time.
It couldn't hurt.
You go to WorldStar for that.
Guy, you seem to think that bothering a celebrity is no worse than bothering a non-celebrity?
That's right.
No, that's very wrong. That is very,
You mean like
wrong.
morally in life?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Celebrities.
How does that equation apply to you, Andy?
People shouldn't bother me.
I was trying to figure out which category you're putting
clear.
yourself in, and that's fascinating.
Absolutely. I have said this many, many times on this show, guys. Celebrities like me, different standards apply to us.
That's true. TV's Andy Levy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The tough love school. Tom, you read one quote from a parent who said, "This has to be a suggestion, especially if I'm paying for my child to be there."
Yeah.
No, you have a choice of not paying for your child to be there. Like, that's your choice if you don't like it.
There you go.
Yeah. By choosing to pay for your child to be there, you're choosing to follow the rules that the school set up.
Boom.
Yeah. All right. Guy, you said you're very responsible and you always have a backup plan, which is a tease for later. Don't do that, man.
I was talking about my personal life, Andy.
Don't do that. I've been told I have to go. Apparently I shouldn't speak to Guy like that.
Okay. All set. Thank you, Andy. Yep. Coming up, science says having a backup plan is a dumb idea, so keep watching. You were probably told growing up that having a backup plan was always a good idea. Sure, a plan B can make you feel less nervous about the future, but new research shows that merely thinking about options other than success can make your goals harder to reach. Researchers asked people to unscramble sentences, telling them they would get a free snack or leave early when they completed the task. Some were asked to come up with alternative ways to get the rewards, while others had to do the puzzle. The results? People who had a backup plan were less likely to complete the task because they felt less pressure to succeed. According to the authors of the study, by making a backup plan, you are effectively constructing an emotional safety net, which may dampen your goal desire. Makes sense, Kat? What do you think?
I think this is the reason why so many people are dog walkers in this city, because their parents tell them you can be an actor someday if you just keep trying. No, you need at a certain time you need a backup plan.
So you think that is, regardless of the
everything's
fact
always worked out for me. It's the first time I've tried it, so I don't really know. But yeah, you need to have a backup plan, or else you end up falling and having to live on the taxpayer dime. And I am not okay with that. This is Fox News. What should the debate be here?
You're right. You may be right about that fact. So Kat says, Guy, you got to have a backup plan, but that doesn't negate the study. That you're more likely, you should have a backup plan if you want security, but if you only want to reach your goal, you just got to go for the goal, right?
No, I mean...
It's a study. It's not wrong.
It must be true.
Yes.
I think one of the people who did the study's name was Milkman. I saw that last time, so maybe that person needs a backup plan. I don't know, get married or something. That's actually a cool last name. Regardless, the study was about, like, doing a puzzle or getting a snack.
Yeah.
It was not about, like, having a career and, you know, having,
snacks.
life important stuff. I think for the big things, you should have contingency plans. Maybe not a backup plan, but contingencies. Because you don't always get exactly what you want. And if you don't, you shouldn't just be sitting there like, oh, well, damn. Well, oh, well.
Why not? Well, then you walk a dog.
Well,
I think you should be conscious that there's options, but to have a full plan, I think the plan comes when you smack a wall or something. It's like when I wanted to ride a bike, I didn't think, if this doesn't work out, I'll try ride a skateboard. You know what I mean? It's like...
You got to ride the bike, right?
Yeah, you say, I'm going to ride this bike. I'm not thinking about a skateboard or a roller skating or something.
Well, for instance, with stand-up, I mean, you decided to go into stand-up, right? And then...
Stand-up was my backup plan.
And he had one. And he's on red eye.
Riding
So
the
it's
bike
all
didn't
work.
work out.
Yeah, it did work out. So I have to go back to my day job.
But Madison, what do you think? I mean,
I think the problem with the study is they didn't make a differentiation between having a potential backup plan maybe in the back of your mind versus actively preparing for your backup plan. Because
yes.
I think of it like this. When you set out for your plan A, you know, you set out to succeed. You don't set out to fail. So until you've completely exhausted your effort in reaching goal A, you're not going to go to goal B. So having a backup plan in the back of your mind is fine, but I see what they're saying with potentially if you're working on too many things at once, you're not going to be able to reach the highest level of success in one of them.
Well, you have to do something, though. If you have a backup plan, you've got to have the schooling. You know, for instance, if you want to go into show business and your backup plan is not going to be a dog walker, then you've got to go to school for it. So it is going to impede on your...
You can go to school when you finish plan A. Do you see what I'm saying? So say
Yes.
plan A doesn't work out and plan A didn't involve school, you can always go to school at that point. If you're having some success in plan A, why not go for it?
But isn't the schooling part of the plan? So let's say you want to go to Harvard. You don't just apply to Harvard. You also have some other options in case you don't get in.
Back up. You got that safety school. Okay, do you want salad with your pizza? Too bad. You're getting it next. Coming up on the next Red Eye on Monday, Andy will be hosting. I'll be off for the week, but we have 5 great shows with TV's Andy Levy standing right here. Dave Smith, John Podhoretz, Deirdre Bolton, and Scott Chaplin. Some great news for you drunken health nuts out there. Domino's is now offering salads. That's the subject of tonight's The new and improved bowls of goodness include a classic garden salad with cherry tomatoes and a red onion, grilled chicken Caesar, and chicken apple pecan salad. I know you won't believe it, but some people on Twitter were mad about this. Here's a sampler plate of the reactions. Domino's needs to stop telling me they now have salads like I'm calling you at 2 a.m. I'm not ordering a friggin' salad, okay? Another, like I'm going to be ordering a salad. Domino's, know your audience. Another, one thing I'm sure of, I'm never going to order an MFN salad from Domino's. Wow, such passion.
Wow. Yeah, I feel like if you're that mad about having the option of a salad, you really need a salad.
I know, what is it they're so mad about? Madison, what's with the salad shaming?
You know, I am a pizza lover, but I don't see anything wrong with the salad edition, not to mention the fact that they're one of the last pizza places to add salads. So they're kind of behind the curve, so they should probably.
They're going to be swag salads. We all know that, right?
You get a salad at
I don't
John's?
eat salad.
Jimmy John's?
I don't eat salad,
Yeah.
but I have friends that do, and I think the good thing about this is there's a lot of people. There's a lot of people who are gluten free, and so this gives them, you know, more options at Domino's. And what
I don't eat salad, but I have friends that do. And like, of course you do.
Some of my best friends eat salad.
I don't eat salad, but when you're planning a party, you're having people over to watch football. If you're going to order Domino's, now this makes it an option for everybody, and I don't have to go to Giant Eagle and go buy salad for my friends that can't eat pizza.
True. And
So it's a healthier and more diverse option.
So you should support. So why all the anger, Kyle? What is it?
Domino's needs to get their pizza right first before they go to salads.
Oh, really?
Well, I do hear that the MFN salad is pretty good.
It is true. Guy, I think Domino's is you know, they got to be doing something right. They're number one.
I enjoy from these responses the clear indication that some of these, or the misconception that these people have, this is like a zero-sum game.
Yeah.
Like, oh no, they've introduced salads. You're not going to get less pizza because someone else might get a salad. That's not how this works.
It's a slippery slope,
Maybe
right?
Yes.
You know, once they have the salads, then all of a sudden it's like, no more pizza. It's just a salad delivery place.
It's rationing, like in Venezuela, socialism fails.
Very special thanks, Katherine Timpf, Kyle Grooms, Madison, Gesiotto, and Guy Benson. That does it for me, Tom Shillue. I'll see you next time.